The United States owes more money than any country has ever owed in the history of the world, over $40 trillion. dollars. If you split that bill between every single American babies included, each person would owe more than $115,000. Nobody voted for this bill, nobody signed up for it, and somehow almost nobody can agree on how to fix it, but that's only part of the story. Why this matters. This isn't just a number on a government website. This debt affects your taxes, your interest rates, your job, and your kids' future. Every dollar the government borrows today is a dollar it has to pay back later with interest. And that interest bill is already so big it now costs more than the entire U.S. military budget. If this keeps growing, it doesn't just affect politicians in Washington. It affects the price of your mortgage, your car loan, and your credit card. How we got here. This story didn't start last year. It's been building for decades. In 1981, the national debt was about $1 trillion, already a huge number. By 2008, after wars, tax cuts, and a financial crisis, it hit $10 trillion. By 2017, it doubled again to $20 trillion. Then in 2020, a global pandemic hit, and the government spent trillions more just to keep the economy from collapsing. By 2022, the debt crossed $30 trillion. Now it's crossed $40 trillion. That's not one political party's fault. Both parties, under different presidents, kept adding to it. It grew slowly, then all at once, like a snowball rolling downhill, picking up speed. Here's a simple way to think about it. Imagine your household spends more than it earns every single month. To cover the gap, you put it on a credit card. At first, it's manageable, but every month the balance grows and now you're paying interest just to keep up with old interest. That's exactly what the U.S. government does. It spends more than it collects in taxes almost every year. To cover the gap, it borrows money by selling bonds, basically IOUs, to investors, banks, and even other countries. Each year, it borrows more to pay for that IOU plus interest on the old ones. The scary part? Interest payments alone are now one of the fastest growing costs in the entire federal budget money that isn't building roads or schools. It's just going toward debt the country already has. This isn't a guess, it's tracked in real time. The U.S. Treasury Department publishes the exact national debt total every single day. The Congressional Budget Office, a nonpartisan government agency, has repeatedly warned that debt is growing faster than the economy that has to support it. Interest costs on the debt have become one of the largest line items in the federal budget, competing directly with defense and healthcare spending for the same limited dollars. Case studies. The young worker, a 24-year-old starting their first job. They didn't create this debt, but a growing share of their future taxes may go toward paying interest on money spent before they were even born. The retiree, someone relying on Social Security and Medicare, two of the biggest federal programs, worried that rising debt could eventually force hard choices about how those programs are funded. The small business owner. When the government borrows heavily, it can push interest rates higher across the whole economy, meaning a business loan that used to cost 5% might now cost 8%, squeezing every small business trying to grow. Different people, same rising pressure. The psychology. Here's why most people ignore this problem. $1 trillion doesn't feel real. The human brain is good at understanding hundreds and thousands, but numbers like trillion just become an abstract blur. Researchers call this scope insensitivity. Our emotional reaction barely changes whether a number is 1 billion or 40 trillion, even though the real difference is enormous. That's part of why this problem keeps getting bigger. It's easy to postpone a crisis that doesn't feel urgent yet. What happens next? Best case, economic growth speeds up and smart policy choices slowly shrink the debt compared to the size of the economy. The same way growing your income makes an old credit card balance feel smaller. Worst case, interest costs keep climbing, forcing painful choices, higher taxes, cuts to popular programs, or both decided in a rush during a future crisis instead of calmly today. Most likely case, according to most economists, a slow, uncomfortable squeeze, not sudden collapse, but a gradual shift where more of every tax dollar goes to interest, leaving less for everything else. What this means for you, You can't fix the national debt by yourself, but you can fix how it affects your life. Watch how rising interest rates affect your own loans and credit cards. Build savings so a shaky economy doesn't shake your personal finances. And pay attention to how candidates plan to handle this, not just what they promise to spend, but how they plan to pay for it. The national debt is a huge problem. Your personal finances don't have to be. $40 trillion isn't just a headline, it's a bill with no clear due date, and every year it goes unpaid, it quietly grows for the next generation to inherit. If this helped you actually understand the number everyone talks about but almost nobody explains, subscribe because next week we're breaking down exactly who owns America's debt, and the answer might surprise you.